Afro's a business coach, and he and Farah, his wife, are the founders of the Business of Health Coaching Academy. That's BOHC Academy.
Yeah.
And they actually help health and nutrition professionals charge with their worth. And I'm a big fan of that as well. They showcase their value and transform even more lives through their health businesses. And as I mentioned, Afro witnessed Farah struggle with as a nutrition and health coach. And she thought it would be to, the answer was to get another certification. And so they decided to create this yet another certification syndrome program to help other health and nutrition professionals discover the cure and build a business they love that impacts the world. And today we're going to talk about a little bit about that and using AI to really build your business. And this is huge now. And in fact, I just want to do a little plug before you start. Yesterday, I had my friend Jen Barsamian come in and talk about a tool you can use for AI. So be sure to go in the top of this page on Facebook, the Health Coach Educational Network, and check out that talk as well if you're looking for specific tools. But Afro and Farah, I'd love to hear what you have to say about using AI. I can't wait to hear this. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm trying to do it a little bit on my own, and it's not working out as well as I thought I could. So tell us all the secrets behind this.
Well, I guess for me and Farah, it's like when social media first came out. If I remember back in like, oh geez, when did I first 2008, no, 2004, I think when first like Facebook launched. And then when I was at university, I finally got a Facebook account and et cetera, et cetera. So it's like another wave is how I see it. So we've had like the internet, we've had social media, now we've got AI. So it's about capturing that and utilizing it and not getting stuck in the weeds. So I really want to share some strategies with you and some simplicities to make it a super smooth journey, because there are so many things out there and we don't want to end up getting all confused and getting in a funnel and not actually making any progress. Right. So what I want to do is, can I share my screen? Let's kick it off, I think, Jody, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. And I will post the link to Health
Oh
Coach
yeah, please,
Educational
yeah.
Network in the comments as well.
Brilliant.
So
Awesome. Okay, so this is AI for Health Business Growth Workshop. So as we go through this, guys, I want you to guys to pop any questions as we go through. Farah's going to help collate them all, and we're going to help answer them maybe towards the back end. I'm going to stop at certain points in time for you to answer any questions as well. So here we go. I can see the chat still. Brilliant. Fantastic. Okay, so let's kick it off. So me and Farah, as we've been introduced by Jody, so thank you very much. So we've been in the health industry for nearly a decade, won numerous awards. So we won business awards like Community Business of the Year, Entrepreneur of the Year from NatWest. So if you're not familiar with NatWest, don't know if they exist in the States, but they're a business banking company. And we generated $150,000 in the cash collected in the last 12 months. So we just want to share with you, what we're about. And, we've been there, done that, brought the t-shirt, so to speak. Okay, so this is what we call the Health Business Operating System, or HBOS. So we plug this into the health coaching business. So there's two sides to it. You've got the coaching side, then you've got the business side. And I think you need to plug something in that helps support that side of the business. And the part we're going to focus on mainly is influence, okay? Because using AI to leverage it to 10x our content production and save 5 to 10 hours per week is how you're going to create the influence you need to then acquire more clients on board. Right, so what do I mean by this? So this looks all fancy and great, but identity, we class it as creating the version of yourself that enables you to conquer any challenges and seize every opportunity, thus shaping a promising future. And then we've got influence. So it's developing a transformative solution that empowers individuals to take meaningful action and positively impact lives. And then we've got investment, is discover the techniques to construct a scalable business that fosters both flexibility and freedom. All right. And each of these cogs helps turn the next one. All right. So if you look at the whole system and process, if something's clunky and not working very well, it's going to slow the whole thing down. And I really want to think about this as we go through this. Which gaps are you seeing in your business using this process? And then start to write notes to fill them in. And we've got installation. So acquiring the knowledge to construct a business that endures over time, remaining resilient in the face of any economic circumstances. So we've had COVID, pandemics, we've got recessions. So to make sure we have a business that is robust enough to handle those times. and an impact. That's what we're all here for, really, to acquire the skills to endure transformation that not only impacts our clients' lives or patients' lives, also has a ripple effect for future generations. Because there's a reason why you started this journey. All right. There's a reason why you thought, right, let me get certified, let me help people. Maybe you've had a personal health journey yourself, or maybe you had family members that have been on a journey and you really want to share that knowledge with other people and have a wider impact. That's really why we got started. Okay, so this is what I want to share with you. So the bit we're going to focus on is influence, which is the content piece in the middle there. Right, just are you guys with me so far? Just put yes in the comment section if you're with me, if this is all making sense. And if it's not, let me know, because then I can go back and reiterate. But this is the bit. So where does AI fit into your business? Okay. So right now you may be starting a health coaching business or starting a health business. Maybe you've got patients already. Maybe you've got no clients or no patients at all. And thinking, right, what's the next logical step? Okay. So if you're new to this or you've already got a current business, where does it all fit in? So I want to share with you like the future of content and how I see it. Okay, so I think of AI as a 21-year-old intern. So this is one of my mentors shared this with me, and I want to share it with you guys. So it's not going to be the finished product. So a lot of people think ChatGPT or whatever piece of software you're using is going to do all the work for me, right? You may ask like, can you create me a meal plan? Can you create me this, an offer? And it comes up with stuff like, it's not aligned with me. It makes no sense. It's not going to be the finished product, but it's going to get you 80% of the way there. Right, it's having all the cake baked, and now you're adding the final decorations and touches to it. That's how I see it. So it supports major functions in the business, but is not the business. Right? It's meant to support you, not take over the whole thing for you. We're not there yet, guys, unfortunately. It's not going to be like we can switch on AI and then we can sit back and, it's all working. Right? So think of it that way. So imagine you've got a 21-year-old intern in your office or with you, and they're helping you, support you as you create your content. Okay, that's how I think of it. All right, so there's kind of 5 phases to this in terms of the content production pipeline. So the first phase is like ideation. You need to come up with an idea when you think about a piece of content. That can be when you're in the shower, that can be when you're going on a walk, that can be wherever you are in your life. Where does an idea come from? All right, then we're going to start to develop the idea. Okay, we've got to then start to think, right, I need to put this to action and create something around that. So one of your ideas could be, right, I need to create an article, okay, and I want to talk about gut health, for example, right? Then you've got to go write the article out. And after that, you could potentially repurpose it, right? So you could take the article and break it down into little quotes or blog posts or something else, okay, in terms of content. After that bit, you could start to edit the content. So repurpose and editing can go other way around. So you could think, all right, I've got this blog and I'm going to chop it down into a post, but I need to edit that piece. Okay. And then lastly is the distribution. It needs to go somewhere, right? That's Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever social media platform or website, multiple places where that can be distributed. Anything to add, Farah or Jody? Any thoughts so far? No, brilliant, fantastic. If you got questions, guys, pop them down below. There's 18 of you here. There's loads of. So where does it actually fit in? Okay, so this is where I think it fits in. It can help with the ideation piece. So it can help with creating ideas, which I'm going to show you in a minute how to do so. Then it helps with it's the human piece is mainly going to create the content. All right. Unfortunately, like I said, I've seen AI where you can do voiceovers, you can have a version of yourself, but it's not there yet. It's a bit clunky. So we still need to create the content, right? We still need to get on the camera like I am now, or we need to start, write the words potentially, etc. Then repurposing it, we can use AI. So AI can take a piece of content like this presentation right now and chop it into small pieces. It can then do clips, and then it could have words on it to put as reels or shorts or somewhere else, right? The editing piece probably still going to be the final touches by a human being, but I remember I did this presentation about 3 months ago. Even since then, it's improved. So it's vastly improving all the time. So AI might start to seep into this editing piece where it does that piece for you. The distribution, mainly going to be if somebody's going to have to schedule it or put it out there. It's not quite there yet where it'll schedule it or post it accordingly, or in the right place or the right way or format and structure. All right, so really it's ideation and repurposing where we can use it in a massive way. Okay, so got a little exercise for you guys. So I'm going to show you this bit. So how to create 30 to 50 pieces of content ideas straight out of the gate. So there is several different ways to do this. I'm going to be using ChatGPT. I'm only going to be using that, but you can use whatever you want per se in terms of actual AI. So I've got together, the key thing here with this is making sure we've got the right types of prompts. Okay, so I've got a little worksheet here. I can share in the chat with you at the end. So let me know if you want this worksheet, just put social media worksheet. But it breaks down into these sections because the biggest struggle nutrition health coaches generally have, or practitioners, is something around the problem. What problem are you looking to solve? All right, and that's the key of the offer. Along with that is who do you solve it for? All right, so we've got a big problem and who. Once you can work those two pieces out, things get a lot simpler and a lot easier. But unfortunately, we're not in a space where we can go, I want to help someone be healthier, and that's all we need to say. All right, so think about the big problem and the who, and you want to pop that in there in this worksheet. All right, so I'll drop that worksheet. I'll do it now, actually, since you guys are asking for it. I'll drop it in there so you can type along as we go if you wish to. Drop it in there. Brilliant. Fantastic. Okay, so then the process. So name of your process. If someone was going to work with you, this needs to be the 3 to 5 foundational steps. So we want the little detail in there. So think about what's the very first thing you're going to do if someone started working with you? What's the second thing and the third thing? So for example, for Farah, what's your first thing? Do you want to share yours as your methodology?
Yep. So my first thing is mentality.
So I've got an example. And then what would that mean, Farah, generally speaking?
That's about education, evaluation, and elevation.
Brilliant. Okay, then the next step in the process for you is?
Microcosm.
Cool. This is where you see my amazing writing, by the way. There we go. Brilliant. And then the third one is methodology. All right. So you've got your step-by-step process, or if you haven't got one, start to think about one, because that's what's going to make you unique and stand out in the marketplace versus everyone else. Then next to it, you're going to write down a definition of it. All right. So for example, here, you can use an alliteration. So it could be all eyes, or an acronym like the word FIT. So food, invigorate, train, for example. So like I shared with you guys, insulation was one of my steps. Acquiring the knowledge of constructing a business that endures over time and remains resilient in the face of economic circumstance. Okay, that's what I've got for insulation. All right, so you can use ChatGPT to help you to come up with ideas, but really want to think of 3 to 5 foundational steps. All right, then you write them in this box here. Then you want to name your process. All right, so we've got a naming formula here. So there's 3 phases to this. Describing word, relates to the offer, and process noun. So for Farah, it's the Menafit fat loss method. So Menafit describes the word, what she does, menopause and fitness, much together. Relates to the offers number 2, it's a fat loss process. And process now is like methodology, framework, blueprint, etc. All right, this is all going to make sense in a minute, so bear with me. All right, once you've got that nailed, here's the fun bit. You have some prompts. So everything you do with AI needs to be prompted and directed in the right way. Right, so I've got an example of all these here already pre-written. So this is Farah's. I'm Farah, a menopause coach, co-founder, etc., etc. So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to put it into ChatGPT. Now I'm going to use just 3.5, that version. So that's the free version. I'm just going to paste this in here. All right, and then it's just going to pretty much say the same thing back. That's totally fine. Then I get the next example. So the name of my process is this, and my steps are this. So the description of them. I'm going to grab that, pop that in here too. All right, then it's going to say thank you very much, etc. Then I'm going to grab this bit prompt here. So this is where I'm going to actually start to ask some questions. So what challenges and obstacles might menopausal women have as they lose weight and improve their health? All right, so you want that to be a bit broader with the second one here. So the worksheet will say that. It will say what challenges and obstacles might name of client or patient or person you'd like to work with, who I mentioned, as they broad, big problem. We want to be a bit broader with this because we're looking just for ideas. So I'm going to take that, then I'll paste it here. Now it's going to give me a list of ideas, basically. All right. Hormonal changes, slower metabolism. Oh. Muscle loss, changes in body composition, mood swings, stress, bone health concerns, etc. It's given me 10 ideas already. Isn't that useful? And it's all about giving it the education first, then the prompt second. So ideally, you want to copy that. You can just press this one here. And then you're going to pop that into your document. All right, so you're going to put it.
So that this can help with marketing too, because you're really getting to what their
Yes.
problems are with things that they've tried in the past that haven't worked because of these reasons.
100%,
Yeah.
definitely. And that's the key thing, because we've prompted it. It's going to think of like, what ideally does our dream client want and what problem you're looking to solve. And it does that bit for you. So that's just 10 ideas. Fire up to grab questions as we go. So they're going to be, thank you very much. Anything you want to add, Farah, so far?
No, this just so far has been a game changer for me because it's made my content, generate content so much quicker.
Yeah,
And
how
also
do you use it every morning?
every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you use it for, Farah? Just share a couple of things.
I create posts, I create stories, I create articles. I wrote for 2 magazines and I created that using some of my articles, and then I popped them in ChatGPT and said, can you create an article for the magazine? Pretty much everything, really. Yeah. All my when we did the Black Friday offer, I sent clients letters, which was offers that I made to them that was also created in there. So yeah, pretty much everything. To begin with, it didn't sound like me and I didn't like it. And I didn't think I'm going to get on with it because I don't I don't want to sound like someone else. And that I really had a problem with that. But when I learned the prompts and I said, do not change my words and sentences, change the format and put headings in, it understood, which is when I really decided that this is it. This is how I'm going to do my content from now on.
It does take in the same chat, you've really got to give it some context to help it sound like you. And here, I learned this in a week. I thought it was brilliant. Just at the bottom, a little hack. Custom instructions, you can put what you're about here. So it learns your name and what you're about just in this box here. All right. And then so you've got 10 ideas there already. All right. So I want to take the next step and say, what are some highly valuable topics and ideas that I can use for my Facebook post? You can put YouTube videos, whatever you want to put there, to help menopausal women lose weight and improve their health. Copy that and paste that in there. That's going to give me a bunch more. So nutrition tips, hormone health, exercise. So some of these may overlap. Some of them might be more specific. But you can already see it's giving me 15 more. So that's 24 in total. Just from, this took me 3 minutes so far, not even that. And then I'll say, give me 10 more ideas that will help menopausal women lose weight and improve their health, including facts and figures. Now, you do want to verify those from other sources to make sure they are correct, because that has been known that it might give you a random fact or figure. So go verify that on other platforms as well to do your research. But here we go, there's another 10. All right. So these are great ideas you can use for any way, shape, or form for content. So it kind of fills that gap here, like I mentioned, the ideation bit. Now it leads to the creation piece. So that's the worksheet anyway. There is some more training with that. I know a few of you guys have asked for the sheet. So I think we've got a list of names and people in here. So I can always send you the video training that goes with that to break that down even further. Would that be useful for you guys? Just let me know in the chat if that would. Just put yes, if it would be useful for you, or 1. Brilliant. Okay, so now this is where it gets really exciting for me. This is where I geek out on this bit. All right, so they're the kind of basics. Now I want to start to share another level with you. All right, so this is the creation bit. Okay, so I think of this as one piece of pillar content is what you really need to transform your content production piece. Think of it this way, because like me, this is how I discovered it, if I'm being honest. So we have a podcast, me and Farah, and every week we've had it for 70 episodes now in. All right, so that's over a year now. And it's an asset that it's just been ticking in the background. I didn't really think about it too much. I was like, right, I need to do something with this podcast. I thought, right, what is my pillar piece of content? And that was the podcast. For Farah, it's our lives every week into a group. But you really think about what is your one piece of pillar content. If it's a Facebook Live, if it's a workshop, if it's writing you're into, if it's a podcast, you want something to anchor the rest with. All right. So this is what's allowing us to like 10x our content production and also save 5 to 10 hours is this, along with another piece of AI, which I'm going to share with you in a second. All right. So I'm in this wallet, one piece of content, pillar content, the podcast. It allows me to do podcast summary, which used to take me a significant amount of time of writing and listen up. What did I say? Because if you record the podcast a week ago, you're like, I don't remember what I said. And sometimes because you're speaking and Jodie's laughing because she probably thinks the same thing, it's because as you're speaking, it just comes out of you. It just naturally comes out. You say something genius on a podcast, but unless you sit there and remember it and write it down at the moment, it's forgotten. AI can help you bring that back to life. So I think that's brilliant just from that standpoint alone. You also get social media quotes. And again, from those quotes, I'm like, did I say that? I can't believe I said that. That's pretty good. That's quite insightful. And again, you miss these little bits of gold and nuggets because you're in a conversation and a flow. All right. So then you've got Facebook Reels. Okay. So it's not going to do the Reels for you, but it can give you good ideas on Facebook Reels, stories, shorts, whatever, small bit of micro content you're creating that's a minute long, it can give you ideas for that. Because one of the biggest things we can all struggle with is like, okay, I've got this pillar content. It's like, how do I break it down to small chunks or how to record a piece of video or content on it? Because our podcast is audio only, not video. Eventually it's going to be video as well. So we can actually clip it. But for now, I need to take the ideas from that podcast, again, what I talk about, and create ideas that are smaller that can be leveraged to then drive more traffic to the podcast. All right. It also helps to write blogs, like Farah said. Like, it really is good at writing if you give it good input. Because our podcasts are anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour, that's a lot of context it gets. So it allows you to write a 500-word blog post. Also allows you to write then a 500-word Facebook post, or you can make it 100 words or 250 words. That's really your choice at that point. Any questions on this, guys, so far? I know we've got one question so far about AI tools, which we'll get to towards the end. But anything, Jodie or Farah, to add some more context to this?
Not seeing any yet.
No? Cool. No worries. All right, I'll crack on. No questions means it's all good. All right, so what I don't want to do is rush the process, okay? Because we all think, right, I want to go ahead and put this all together. All right, and that's some of the risk we do and take. But I want to share with you, before we get into that section, is how we're doing this, okay? The how. So I'm just going to share with you. So I've got here, you can see my desktop. This is a podcast we recorded last week, The Thinking Coach. Right, so I've got a piece of software called Descript. So this is another AI tool. So I'll hit New Video Project. And what's it going to do is going to take the audio and just put it into a written format. Now,
actually, that is one of the questions we have from Louisa is what other AI tools do you recommend?
There we go. Here's another one.
So better mind.
There we go. All right. So it's going to work in the background, but I've already, like a magician used to say, something I prepared earlier. All right. So I already have one here. So I'm not going to let you sit there and watch it. But basically, it's going to come up with this. Okay. The script to what we just said in the podcast. Also, what it'll do as well, it will actually take away any ums as well, which I think is brilliant. So any ums and ahs, filler words, it will do that for you as well. All right, so a right click of a button. We'll just see if it's loaded this one up. No, it's still transcribing. But what you'll do is you'll basically right click and it will say remove filler words, remove them all. Because sometimes there's ums and ahs, etc. in a podcast. But you don't want to remove all the gaps because in a podcast, you want those little silent moments in your audience for them to think about what you've just said. Right. So keep that in there because you want it to be natural. But then the words that we fill in can be taken away. Right. So once it's done that and it's come up with the whole spiel. Go back one. Okay, so you're just going to copy this. Now, I've set this up beforehand. Now I'm going to use ChatGPT-4 because I've created a GPT for myself. There are prompts for this. Okay, so I've given you the prompts here you can use for things like a podcast script or anything you've got already.
What is this tool people are asking? Is this Descript it's called?
Yeah, Descript. So it's
And Farah, if you have a link, that would be great to put it in the chat too.
yeah, it's cool. It's that. So you probably
Okay.
guys can see it there. Descript. That's the tool there. Cool, I'll let Farah pop it in the chat for you. But you're going to copy that, take this to ChatGPT. And I've already made a GPT for this. I've called it Podcast Ninja. So I just thought it was a cool name. I know it's cheesy, or a little bit cheesy. All right, so I click this button here, summarize the podcast episode. Like I said, I've given you the prompt here where you literally just say, please write a summary of the following podcast. And now I'm just going to paste it in here. All right. And it's going to do its thing. So it's going to basically with ChatGPT 4, it is a little slower, but it gives you a more detailed response back. That's the key difference between that one and the free version, is what I found. So you do get more of a detailed descriptive piece that suits your style. Okay, so here we go. In this week's podcast, the concept of thinking coach. And what you'll see as it writes it out is there'll be certain words that I will use and be like, oh, I said that. Oh, that makes sense.
So
I said
you
50,000
prompted it,
Yeah.
after you prompted this to summarize your podcast and
Correct.
you put the words in. I get it. Okay. This is very cool.
Yeah, it is. I thought it was brilliant when I played around with this. So it talks about 30,000 foot view, the host share, etc. So it talks about anecdotes about critical thinking. The latter part of it talks about decision-making principles, dividing the process into learning and deciding phases. I'll actually show you because I think this is cool because this is the template me and Farah use. So you can just see the words that are actually in there. So this is the structure we did. We have a decision-making principles, learning phase, and deciding phase. So it has picked that up. Okay. Later on in the podcast, we discussed this, and we did later on in the podcast. So it's pretty damn accurate. All right. Then it will ask me, like, if I'm happy with it, I'll just say I am happy. Normally ask the question. If it doesn't, I will just prompt it. Then it'll move on to the next bit. Glad you're happy with the summary. Next piece, please. So what we'll do now, we'll ask, cool, which bit? So now it's gonna, thank you for the next bit. Would you like me to focus on aspects of the podcast, generating detail? So now it's prompting me on the bits I asked for before. So I say quotes, please. So that's the next logical one on here. So back to here. So quotes. So I'm going to ask it for quotes. Normally it just generates them for me. So I have to just prompt it a little bit. Cool. Now it's breaking it down into sections on problem solving and perspective. If you can't see the problem, that's an issue. You can't solve it because you can't see it. You're the leader in the business. Therefore, you've got to improve your decision-making ability in order to improve results and performance. Okay, there's a 1,000-foot view again. And Farah can vouch for this. This is how I speak, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of that 30,000 foot views.
It's like I'm in a helicopter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So this bit for me is pretty cool. So you always filter things through your core values because it's your belief system and what you believe to be true. All right. That's what I said. I literally spoke about that. We talk a lot about core values and principles. And if you're making decisions, you've got to filter them through that because you only really think about it really. You think about your highest value. So if you value health and fitness and exercise, you're going to do exercise, eat well, etc. If you value the least, like me, I'm not a fan of cooking. So we have prep pops get delivered to a house. I put them in the microwave. They're all healthy and well balanced. But I'm not a fan of cooking. So that's a lower priority for me. Right? For someone else, it's like, I love cooking. I cook every day. Right? And we only tend to do the things we really value the most. Think about your calendar, spending time with friends, where you spend your money. It's going to be in a hierarchy and system. So these are one of the things I talked about. Right? So then it's giving me the quotes. So I can use these, copy these, make them look fancier, etc. on social media. Any questions so far in the chat or anything from any?
Yeah, can you teach my husband how to cook too? That's my question.
ChatGPT could. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you use all of these 7 of 10 quotes? Do you use them all?
What I
Or
do,
them to your RVA, don't you?
yeah. So here's a good way to add this on. So once this is all created, the VA actually creates it and sends it to me. So she puts all this into a document, the summary, all the things I mentioned here. So the summary, the social media quotes, she puts all this in a document. I just proofread it to make sure I'm happy with it. And then she will distribute it. Obviously, the reels I have to go and create. That's me. But she'll put everything else out. So this is a great way if you've got a team, the VA can do some of this stuff for you, right? Because it's that good at taking that core pillar content and distributing it out. Because you've said those words, so it aligns with you totally. And I'll just say, next piece, please. It should prompt me or remind me what the next piece is. Cool. Now it's going to do the blog. And the great thing about this version is it's now writing my blog. Introduction. Health coach is not just about guiding clients towards healthier lifestyles, also about making informed decisions and thinking critically as a coach. And our latest podcast episode, etc. So now it's breaking it down into the importance of problem solving, leadership, and decision making. So again, some of the key things we covered here. It's now breaking it down. Now you can ask, like, can you change these words? Can you make it more detailed? You can go back and forth with this bit. See, core values comes up again. Creative problem solving. See, evaluating and learning from past decisions. That's literally what I think I said here, using past experiences. Awesome. There we go. Conclusion. Right. So first, principles thinking. I'd say, because I remember talking about Elon Musk here. So I'm going to ask it, can you, I'm having fun with it. Can you add the Elon Musk battery example to this bit? Then it'll just rewrite it basically and add that piece in, or just that section. See, that talks about the battery, like I mentioned, high cost of the battery, broke it down using first principles. So that's exactly, because I remembered saying that, it's now giving me a whole spiel about it. I can add as a paragraph.
Amazing.
It is awesome, isn't it? Absolutely crazy what this thing can do. All right, so now I'm going to say next, I'm going to say I'm happy with that.
Yeah, don't ever say you're not happy, because when the machines take over.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, one of our students actually said that. She said,
Really?
said to me, she goes, she
Been
always
watching
says
too many
please
Terminator episodes.
no, she would always say please and thank you because of that reason. She said, I say please and thank you, and I'm so grateful. She'll write that in there to program it to treat her well. And I found it hilarious, but it's totally right.
Louisa's asking if you have any trainings that you offer. I know you're going to talk a little bit about that later, but maybe Ferry, you could put the link to set up a call with them, with you guys.
Yeah, put that in
anybody's
the chat.
interested.
Brilliant. Awesome. Okay, so great to hear. Happy with the advice, but if you need, okay, brilliant. Okay, I'll just say next piece, please. Right now, it should move on to Facebook posts. There you go. So now it's going to break down that blog into a post with emojis in there, which obviously Facebook, we all know we need emojis in our posts. And Farah use that a lot as well, actually. So you can put your post and go, can you add some emojis to this, please? So scaling up challenges. And then I can just I can reread that. So it talks about Elon Musk again, the battery, final thoughts, question. So I asked it to ask an engaging question. What critical decision have you made in health coaching business that's transformed the way you operate? That's a pretty cool question. Yeah, there we go. So that's how it's broken down into those sections here. And it's not that one, Farah, it's the one in the chat.
Oh, sorry.
Remember that one? If you could delete that one. That one doesn't work, guys. That's an old one. So Farah's going to put the new one in there.
Yeah, got it.
Ask ChatGPT which link to put in.
Yes, I think
Ask
that might
Chat- Please send this link.
Please send me a link for my
The
program.
best bit will be when it gets voice activated. That's when it really can get
There it
exciting.
is.
Brilliant. All right, cool.
I'll
So-
put it on the in the Facebook as well.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Okay, guys. So you guys are still with me, which is fantastic. So that's how you could take one piece of pillar content and break it down into these. Now, I'm going to show you a little side thing here. So this is, if you're not with it, is you go explore ChatGPTs and my ChatGPT. And you just say create new. And it literally asks you what you want to make. And you just tell it. Then it makes it one for you. And that's how it made. And now I'm playing with like real stuff. I haven't got there yet. But if I was to go to edit and then configure, this is all I've asked it to do. Can you do this? So known as podcast, you specialize in creating captivating content for our podcast, includes summaries, Facebook real ideas, powerful quotes. I didn't do the real ideas, did I? But the rest of it there. So let me actually do that now. So can you give me real ideas?
Based on the podcast above, right?
Yeah. Because it already knows that it should be better. Yeah, see that. Because I programmed it, but you are right, Jody. In the free version, you have to say that. Give me ideas based on the podcast summary above. But with ChatGPT 4, you don't have to say that.
Got it. Okay.
So 30,000-foot view there, Farah, is there for you again.
Did you do this one on your paid version or free one?
This is the paid one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can do it. That's why I've got the prompts here, guys. So what I'll do is I'll send Jody all this so she can forward it to you guys. Can Jill do that? I'm assuming she can, can't she? As part
Yeah,
of the
Jill can send, for those of you who are on our email list, you get all the replays sent right to your inbox. So be sure to message Jewel Otajimi if you want to get on our email list, and she can put you on if you're not on it already. So I'll try to put that in the chat, or to how to get in there, but you're best off just to message Jewel through Facebook, and she's in our group, so you can find her. I think she's the only Jewel in our group, so you can find her and just message her and ask her to get on our email list.
Cool. Awesome, guys. And that way you'll get all these prompts as well, because these are literally the prompts I used to program ChatGPT. So I don't have to copy and paste it every time, basically. So it saves me a bunch of time. So here there's 7 ideas, even give me 8, actually, 8 ideas. So illustrate the concept of first principles by taking a simple animation. I can just do a visual video of it, but you get the idea. Okay, so with that being said, how to get an email list? Amazing, thank you.
Jody has responded to that.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. So, because we're gonna have a big like chunk of time at the end, I do want to get in some Q&A, guys. So if you've got questions, 'cause I love Q&A anyway, pop them down below. Okay, just pop them in the comments, and we're gonna get through as many as we can before the hour's up. I've just got a few more things to share with you, but I want you to start to think about any questions you may have based on what we've gone through already. Okay, so like I said earlier, don't rush this process, because the biggest mistake I made is I get really excited. Okay, I'm like most people, entrepreneurial, shiny object, let's go for it. And I'm like, right, I'm going to change my whole business around because now I've nailed this AI piece. I've learned about AI. And the mistake I made was actually in this room here. So it was actually 2019, 18, 19 over Christmas period. This was all white. There's nothing on this wall. There's just a whiteboard that I stuck up, the ones that, keep peeling off every now and then. I keep re-sticking it on. And I wrote a program out, okay? It was an 8-week health and nutrition program. So I did the recordings for it. I edited it. I put it all together. I spent a lot of time producing the program and creating all the content for it. And then at Christmas time, I was like, right, this is it. It's going to really sell because everyone wants to get fit and healthy and in shape and sort out the health problems at Christmas. All right. So then I put some Facebook ads to it, spent way too much money, and it flopped. I didn't sell a thing. And that's when Farah had to say those words to me that still make me feel horrible today. You have to go get a job. Right? So I had to get 2 part-time jobs, one as a pizza delivery guy and one as a cleaner during the week, just to kind of make ends meet to fill the gap. Because I just rushed it. I was like, right, I'm going to create this offer. I'm going to put it out. I'm going to sell it. don't rush this process. Okay. You want to think like this, because if I thought like this, it would have saved a bunch of hassle. Think systems first. So how can I create a system and then think people second? All right. I went people first, which is me, and just did the thing. All right. Think about the system. As you can see, I've clearly got a system for this. All right. We record the podcast. And actually, do you want to know the system? I'll tell you how we do it. Just let me know in the chat. What is the best practice? Okay, perfect, Suzanne. This is a great question. Brilliant. Okay, so let me share how I do this. So on a Wednesday, I will think of an idea for the podcast we're going to record on a Saturday. All right, so I use ChatGPT if I need to. So I'll plan out the day and I'll send it to Fire. These are the 2 topics I'm going to cover on Saturday. We then record the 2 topics on a Saturday. Okay, then I take those recordings and I do exactly what I just showed you guys. Okay, so on the Saturday, I then wait till the next Wednesday and I schedule the last week's recordings. Okay, I built that process out first before I record anything. All right, now it feels like I'm hardly working but producing so much more content versus running around trying to do lots of stuff and then I burn out. Because I have burnt out before trying to be on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever thing is coming out. Who remembers what's that chat one that we used to be on? Chat House or what was that thing? House something? I can't remember what it's called. Huh? That voice.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That
Being in
one.
a group.
Yeah. Everyone was on it at one point. But my point being is that think about the system first. What day can I create my pillar content is going to be important. Okay, so think about these things here. What day can I create my pillar content? Okay, what day can I think about creating assets around that? What day can I distribute these assets? Going back to this here. All right, so what day I'm going to create them, what day I'm going to think of them or ideation around it, what day I'm going to create them, what day I'm going to repurpose, edit, and distribute. Think of that process first and have that in place. Get it in your Google Calendar. All right, so I've got everything planned out on my Google Calendar. So I know exactly when I'm recording, exactly what I'm going to do, etc. Then start to think, right, how do I actually do this thing? Too many people just get straight into it and get in a kerfuffle and think about what software to use and what's the latest trend, or none of that really matters. They're going to change. ChatGPT might be something else next week. That shouldn't matter if you've got a system, because this is always going to be the case, regardless of what you're using. And that's the principles I want to share with you. That's evergreen and goes beyond what software to use. Now, I have shared some software with you, right? Because I want you to have some tools to go away and use. The main 2 being for me, Descript and then ChatGPT. All right. Anything to add to that, Farah?
Yeah, I just wanted to share that, and maybe majority of you guys, coaches, might relate to me. I used to, in the last year, get up in the morning and say, what content shall I put out? And I'll be like wrecking my brains. The AI was around, but it was just like, what shall I? I don't even know what to tell AI. I was like, oh, I wrote about that yesterday. I can't repeat it. My biggest issue was that this year, we have every new year we go away and we kind of look at our business from the 30,000-foot view. And, we plan out like the whole year. And this is the first time in my online business, 3 years now that I've been doing that for coaching side of the business, the business to client, I have actually put in a content calendar on a Trello board. And I have really found it so much easier to create content. So for example, I don't know if you've got it to share it.
Yeah, I will share that in a second, actually. I'll let you describe it, then I'll share it.
If you're someone like me who really struggles with, what do I write about today? So I have got my methodology. So the 3 M's, the first M being mentality, then that breaks down into education, elevation, and then whatever the next point is. So I take the education, and the 3 pieces of education I want to give my client or my listener is estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, because people don't know about this enough. And I've done enough research, so I want to talk about that. So in my Trello, I've put in on the 7th of January to the 14th, I'm talking about that. So from the 14th, I'm going to talk about progesterone, and then I'm going to talk about testosterone. So when I go in to start writing my content, I already know what my topic is because I've already done that work with the heading. And that heading came from ChatGPT, because I put in what's my topic, who's my client, and what do I want to talk about? And it gave out 10 different headings, and I picked one which was the right one for me. And also my promotional calendar, which was also, oh, haven't got clients, let's just put this promotion in, this promotion in. It's like all over the shop, really. That was still did really well last year, considering that. But this year, I feel like it's so much more in control. So I wanted to run a challenge first 5 days of January. I did that. Now wrote about progesterone this week. Next week, I'm going to write about testosterone, and my lives are to do with that. And even my delivery to my clients on a Q&A, which is every Monday to my clients that I have, is about the same topic because I want to teach them. So it's all a play on one topic. And it's really been a game changer for me. Excuse me.
Amazing.
Great point, Farah. And Suzanne made a good point. So let me just show you what Farah was talking about. So you've got visual representation, because I want to give you guys value to actually see it. So don't look at it and go, wow, what is this? All right. So this is, ooh, here we go. So this is we just use Trello. This is the free version, nothing fancy in that sense. We got our VA to just put the dates of the year in just to make it easier on us. All right. So like Farah was saying, she started the year with a challenge. And because every week, so the first of the month here, you can see it was a Monday. You click in here, podcast guest is her thing. All right. The 8th, like Farah said, estrogen. Estrogen holds the key to getting in shape and what you need to know. Right. So that's the topic and the theme for the week. So she now knows for the whole week, I've got to create this piece of content on this. Let's go to 8th of July. So here we've got snacking. Do you really need to snack in perimenopause? Separating fact from fiction for menopause wellness. All right. So she's planned out basically off her steps. She has 5 steps, but she only even talks about 3. But mentality, microcosm, methodology. And then she's broken those into sub steps, we call them. So major steps and sub steps. And it just becomes the whole year's planned out. This did take a day to do, but it's a day we can leverage for the whole year now. All right. So you can see she's got master classes in here, challenges in here. It makes everything super simple. So she can just turn up and go, right, what am I talking about? Right, I'm going to talk about these things this month. Sleep. How to manage sleep, insomnia during pre-post menopause. That's it. Once you know, the biggest struggle people have is like what to talk about or what to create the content on. That's it. Once you get that trigger, you get moving, you know what you're talking about. I can guarantee everybody on this call or everyone watching this on a workshop, replay, on Facebook, wherever you're watching this, I guarantee you're an expert in what you do. Okay? If I asked you a question, you'll answer it. But you just need that prompt. You just need that prompt to get you going. Once you get going, it just flows out of you. And more than likely, you probably can't stop talking about that topic, right? Because you're passionate about what you do. And that's the key thing. Go on,
right.
Johnny.
And there's no such thing as writer's block anymore. I mean, this is just amazing. So many ideas. Sometimes I just sit there and say, oh, what should I do? What should I, what should I blog about? What should I, write about or talk about or do a social media post about? And this will just give you so many ideas. And my friend Nadia's on from the UK also.
Oh, nice.
But she's wondering if Farah teaches it, or if you guys teach it, because she has zero knowledge of ChatGPT and AI. And actually, Farah said, yes, my husband does. So
yeah,
I'm the guinea pig. So everything is tried on me first and foremost.
Right.
I'll talk about that, guys. I know you guys are wanting to know how to learn more. So let's go back into it and I can share with you.
Yeah. Suzanne's asking how we can contact them, and I will I'll repost that link there to set up a call with them. And it's just a call to see how they can help you, and no obligation or anything like that, but just to say, hey, let's do a bulletproof planning session and
cool.
see where that leads. So I'll post that again.
Thank you, Jodie. So yeah, if you'd like to know more about how we built the system, so here's a couple of just student wins. So this is Ruby. So this is how we helped her. So she got a full investment back in less than 5 months. We're working with a gut health specialist. So she had no following whatsoever. Her following count was not massive, and it doesn't have to be massive. So people think I need a huge audience. You don't. You just need the right audience. That's it. So she started doing lives, never done lives before. She then got invited to actually write for Brains magazine. Right. And then there's the first article she did, increased the following. And then she said these 5 months after starting with Afro and Farah. I think Jay's in here somewhere. So Jay, who's new as a student, you can mention your experience in the comments if you're there still, Jay. I made my investment back. I got clients at my door, got clarity in my business and direction and future. I'm better at pitching. I'm more confident. I'm stronger online presence. I have an offer that consistently sells. Hey, yes, there are days when I wondered if starting with them were the best thing to do, especially when I started, I could barely afford the investment. But you know what? You have to take risks in business, and sometimes otherwise you'll never get a chance to grow. That's true. If anyone is on the fence about it, starting, I just say give it at least a go. And no one did ask her to write this, she just wrote it. So when it asked for, she just wrote it out. So yeah, there we go. And then we've got Daniel here. So he actually did so well that in 6 months since joining, he earned so much he could start working for 12 months. And Daniel is a strength and mental conditioning coach. And he went from like 200 quid a month or pounds to 1,200. So that's like a couple of $100 to $1,500. Right. And that's when he hadn't even started working with us. So this is just for our group. And through things like this workshop, he actually increased his price points and started to get better quality clients. And then he enrolled with us. And as you can see, he says there, just to confirm my results, 6 months of joining and so much I could stop working for 12 months, which is pretty cool, really, isn't it? Imagine we could all just start working for a year because we did well in our business. All right, and then this is Patricia. So it's hypnotherapy and psychotherapy space. So nice bonus for Christmas. So she was actually charging £60 an hour, right? One-on-one, £60 an hour. That's about $75, if that, an hour. And that's all she did, just per hour. No, nothing else. But we taught her how to create her own program. She created the mind shift method. All right. So it's a 3 to 5 step process method. You need a process and a method. And I say this all the time. That's the fundamentals, because from that, you can create everything else. From that, your content is easy. Like Farah, you just saw Farah, her content is planned out for the year because she has a framework. She's got a first step, a second step, a third step, and a visual representation of it. Without that piece, it's very hard, right? It's very hard to, because you will sit there and go, what do I do? How do I create content? Who do I speak to? Who's my audience? I keep attracting the wrong people. All these problems come up because we just haven't got that first piece. So like Jody said, I want to make an invite to you to a bulletproof planning session. So this is a one-on-one deep dive to uncover your value and your position in the marketplace, right? So you can start to build out your own 2K offer. That's pounds if you're in the UK or dollars if you're in the States. If you want this, just comment session down below. I know Jody and Farah put the link there as well. Some of you guys might just want to write session, which is totally cool. And I know, here we go, Jay. Jay's just telling, great experience with those guys so far. They're excellent, knowledgeable, attentive, and best of all, patient with tech idiots. Oh, Jay, you didn't have to say that. Jay's a legend, love him. And I think Annette's in here somewhere as well. So she's been on a bulletproof planning session. So Annette, if you're there, just share what your experience has been. And by the way, guys, there's no like massive sales script at the end of it. At the end of it, if we feel like it's a good fit, we can talk about next steps. There's no like buy now, or there's no pressure there, all right? Because I don't like that high pressure sales. We want to make it genuine fit for both of you.
And you're talking to them, not their people.
Exactly. Yeah. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me. So you can talk to me directly, not some random other person. Brilliant. April session, fantastic. So I was going to take some names down, and we can reach out to you if you haven't already booked it in already. But I also any questions we'll go through, but I want to end on this bit, okay? Because we're going to come back to questions. I think Jody said it at the beginning, and this is so true. We had this struggle, and a lot of you guys may have the same thing, right? Charging what you're worth. I think it's so important. We're not selling water bottles, all right, or pens or widgets or something. We're transforming the quality of someone's life. You guys know this. You've got results from clients and students, clients and patients that have transformed their life, and it's amazing to see. Like, the people have lost 50 pounds, have got regained their gut health, they can live longer, right? That is valuable. And sometimes we devalue it by charging $50 an hour, or it's $100 a month, or whatever it is. We really should be charging thousands, right? Because it is a transformation. So charging what you're worth is so crucial. And the next thing is showcasing your value. Like, I've shared with you how you can do so, but how do you share that knowledge? Because it's all up here. It sounds great up here. It sounds fantastic. You get it up here, but you can't articulate it. For some reason, it can't come out in the way you want it to. So if someone asks you what you're doing or what you do for a living, you can ramble on and on and on about stuff and deliverables. You get 2 sessions a week. You get me when you want, and it becomes a laundry list of stuff. And really, we want to be able to showcase our knowledge and value in a way that positions us as an expert, right? Because we're experts. right? We know our stuff. We're not kidding around it. All right. And the last bit is transforming the quality of people's lives or even more lives. Because, like I said earlier on, this is the reason why you probably got started, is because you don't want to just transform your life, you want to transform other people's lives. You want that bigger, wider impact. Something around your own journey has triggered you to start this thing. All right. If you're right at the beginning or seasoned, you're in it because you want to transform lives. We're not here to make fast money. Right? We're not about that. Right? If you want, that's crypto people or people who want to like do stuff, do random things or quick hits on money. That's not us. That's not our vibe. That's not how we operate.
No,
I
and
think
this
Joe's
is only
nodding nuts.
yeah, and this is only a small piece of what these guys will teach you if you're interested. The Business of Health Coaching Academy, just amazing. I've been following you guys for a little while, and I just love it. You're very heart-centered and real people, and not out to, you really provide a lot of value. And this is just a piece of what they do, and you're getting a lot of love in the chat thread, which is great. Annette is saying she really benefited from the session. So many people thanking you for this valuable information. I took a lot of notes, so I appreciate it as well. But does anyone have any questions before we sign off? Anyone want to
Yeah, Faro, you got anything
what we talked about?
you got down or questions as we go? Because do you have to go, Jody, on the dot? Let me know because I don't want to hold you up and go head on.
I usually have a little buffer, so but
Okay, cool. All right, so we can go as long as we can for now. Or short
it's
as
a question about other AI tools.
Yeah, I think
Lisa, just make sure you click on the talk that I did yesterday with Jen on AI. So you may want to check that out in the group. It's at the top of the group. It's pinned to the top. So there's a tool specifically for this as well. But Afro, did you have any others that you want to recommend?
yeah, I mean the two we use are the two I show you. There's things I've dabbled with and played around with, but those ultimately are the ones that I've picked personally for me and that have worked in the way that I've shown you guys. Like I think tools are great, but tools come and go. Like there's probably not a tool you're using now that you used 10 years ago. All right. And I like to think like tools are great, but don't get caught up in the hype of a tool and like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then you start playing around with it and then you turn to something else. So I think systems first. Work out the system and then get the tools to support that because you know what you're looking for then. Because when I did that way, I knew I was looking for the script. I wanted somewhere I could take it audio, get it into a script or video and get it into a script. That's what I wanted. All right. I wanted a video editing type software. So I found it in that. All right. Because I knew what I was looking for. So I'll give you a list of tools, but you can go to any YouTube channel and get the latest tools or AI tools. You can go everywhere for that stuff. I didn't want to share that stuff with you or give you that stuff. So they're the two I use. I know it's probably not the answer you're looking for, but that's an honest answer.
That's okay. Tamara's asking, is it safe to provide your personal info after downloading ChatGPT? It asks for some info to get started. Is that safe?
As far as I know, it is. I mean, I don't look at every T&C in the world. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a legal profession, so I can't give you legal advice. But if you do want to seek legal advice, you could probably find someone who could tell you exactly the T's and C's around it. I mean, the personal data I've given it is just my email and my name. So to me, that's not much. Facebook knows way more than me. Yeah, Facebook knows more about me than that. Right. ChatGPT. So that's how I look at it. Is name. That's about it.
There's a question about what's the best online planner to use.
Cool. So planner-wise, we just use Google Calendar, to be honest. That's it. Because it connects with so many things like Calendly, it connects with just loads of software you might use, and it's well known and easy to use, and it has an app. And so again, like you can get caught up in what tools to use. Like one of the things I use just to do my to-do list is Todoist. So it's a great way to plan out like my day, and then I pick the top 3 things I'm going to work on, start with 1, 2, then 3. But just for planning purposes, Google Calendar, because me and Farah, for example, like we've got to look after one of our nephews in the next couple of weeks. So it's going to appear on our Google Calendar. Farah send me an invite and I'll see it and be like, right, because I'll forget otherwise. I use these systems to remember. And there's a great guy, what's his name now? I can't remember, but he's got a book called The Second Brain. The author's gone. But the idea and the principle is that don't use this brain for storage. This is for creativity. Use your second brain. Tiago Forte, that's it. Use your second brain, like Google Drive or Calendar or AI to store information and things, and use this for creativity. because that's
love
what's
that.
going to leverage us over time. AI is going to do all this stuff for us, but this bit, it's going to take a long time before it can operate like a human being. All right. That's where our leverage and our skill set lies, not the
Right.
fancy tools and
I,
stuff.
I actually use Google Calendar as well, and I schedule everything in there. Like even like, okay, this time to plan and work on something on this group program that I'm working on. And everything's just scheduled from the time I wake up till basically the
Yeah.
time I go to bed.
We
And
have
then
the
I
same.
set alarms to remind me, okay, you
Yeah.
have, 5
On.
minutes before this next appointment. So you can use your phone as an alarm for calendars purposes, because sometimes I'll get caught up in something and forget about, oh my gosh, I have this next. So so many great tools out there, but I think I love that idea of using, get rid of all that clutter and all the things you're trying to remember and write them down, get them in your calendar. You can set reminders in your calendar. There's all kinds of things you can do, and then use your brain to create. And you take the chat GPT as, like you said, as the intern, and go from there and use it to as inspiration for what you're doing.
100.
Just amazing what's possible. And it's funny because
Yeah.
I had to create a legal document recently,
Ah,
and I'm not a lawyer.
yeah.
So I put it into Chat GPT to write up something for me. And then I had my lawyer check it over, and it was pretty darn good. He said there was only a couple changes that he had to make. So it saved time with what legal fees that I had to deal with, that kind of thing. So,
Yeah,
anyway,
that's exactly the type use is going to be for. You're going to
Mhm.
like you said, the intern's going to do most of the work, and then you get the expert just to look over it to make sure it's compliant, and you're good to go. And,
Right.
and that's really a great example, real life example, actually.
Yeah. Yep. All
Brilliant,
right. Well,
fantastic.
everybody, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Definitely book a call with these two. Click on that link right now before we go, and just book just a call, and no pressure, but just to find out what the possibilities are for your business, and how I am a big fan of getting help for your business
yeah,
and to move it forward. If you get one new client because of what they're teaching you, it'll more than pay for any kind of program that they're offering, one or two new clients. So it's totally worth it, the investment. And it'll save you so much time and effort having expertise that they bring to the table. So thank you, Afro and Fair. I appreciate you coming into the
thank you
group.
for having us. Brilliant.
All
I
right.
love doing these things. Hopefully, we'll do another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Fantastic.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.